So have you been in the UK or the US and your parents have threatened to send you back to Nigeria or Africa? That's happened to me a couple of times, maybe every single day of my childhood, because, African parents are very tough on their children. So I know when I was in secondary school, there was this one child, right? But before I talk about it, secondary school is basically people in the UK from the ages of around 12 years old to 16. They go to school and then after that they go to college, and that's what some people might call university. They go to college for 2 years. Then after those 2 years, they go to university to do a degree for 3 years, 4 years. So in secondary school, right, there was always this one child in my class that will get in trouble every single time. They would get detention, be shouting at the teacher, and they're basically going to always give the teacher a hard time at school. And when they get home, their parents will be like, John, how many times do I have to tell you? Why do you always get into trouble? Why do you never listen? And this is the funny part, right? If you're not careful, I will send you to Nigeria or I'll send you to Africa and they will show you pepper there. They will give you a good beating. Oh my days. The amount of times that I've heard that from my parents, whether that be my dad or my mum, I wasn't that, as a child, I was pretty much a relaxed, quiet child. But there would be some instances where I would lose my phone or I would lose my house keys, and my mum would just be getting angry. Like she would tell me, try and lose your phone in Nigeria. You'll see what they will do to you there. And the thought of children hearing this, that they're going to go back to Africa, that would make them so terrified, especially here in the UK. This is because it's the perception that children have of Africa, of Kenya, that is a bad thing, and if they're being sent to Nigeria or Africa or anywhere else in Africa, it's the end of the world. So basically, there was this kid, right? He was from Uganda, and I've not seen him for like 5 years. And people were saying that, maybe he might have gotten deported, or maybe, we've never seen him before. Like, he might be gone forever. We might never see him again. I was like, oh my days. What a tough life he's going to be living. There was this kid that said he got sent to the village, that maybe he's going to suffer there. I don't know. And literally about maybe a couple of months ago, I saw him on the street and I was like, oh my days, bro, I've not seen you in time, Where have you been? And then I asked him, how was Uganda? And he said, gosh. Yeah, because he was probably living in the village. I don't know where he was living. The main reason is that his parents sent him to Africa because he was not behaving. Most of the time, those things that they say about Africa, it's not real. It's just to scare you away from actually visiting the continent. And one of the things that kids nowadays think that, okay, yeah, if they're being sent to Africa, they're not going to be able to play any games. They're not going to be able to have fun. They're going to be sent to the village where they have no Wi-Fi. If I was a kid and I was 14 or 13, I would think the same thing because I don't really know that much. I'm still learning. For example, if I did not know what I knew now about Kenya, about Africa, I would think that by my mom sending me to Africa, that she's punishing me because I've been naughty at school. If I knew that the West was going downhill and that Kenya, that Africa, that Nigeria in the future maybe are gonna be on top. If I knew that when I was a kid, I would be begging my mom to be like, Mom, please, can I go to Africa? Please, please, please. That's what I would tell her. Let's say if I grew up in Kenya or Africa, right? I'm gonna be taught real culture, respect, patience, And at the end of the day, that's what your parents want for you, you know? They want you to grow up learning skills, to be respectful, to be caring. That's what they want for you. So the reason why they would send you to Africa or a country in Africa is because they want you to learn those values. One of my cousins, right? She would get in trouble every single day. And what my parents did was they told her that she was going to Nigeria for holiday, but actually it was going to be her permanent home. She didn't know. She was thinking that, oh, I'm going to be going to Nigeria for 2 weeks and I'm going to be back in the UK. So about a couple of years ago, I went to Nigeria and I could not even recognize her. She was nice, polite, you know, she was not how she was back in the UK. In the UK, she was, as a child, she was misbehaving, but now she's well behaved. You know, you try and be misbehaving in Nigeria or even in Kenya. If you shout back at the teacher, if you shout back at the teacher in Kenya or in Nigeria, they would smack you. The teacher would actually smack you with a cane. So you're forced to behave properly because if you don't behave, you're gonna get whipped. Yeah, guys, if you can relate, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and also comment down below what you think. Have you experienced this yourself? And yeah, if you have, leave a comment down below. And yeah, peace.